That's where it got a little awkward, because Ethan Miles was already there, and no one else was. He checked his phone again. 4:12. The meetup was at 4:30. He looked around the park like maybe, just maybe, someone would magically appear early too. But no. Just a guy walking his dog, 2 kids arguing over a football, and a couple sitting quietly on a bench like they'd been there all day. Ethan exhaled slowly and sat down. Okay, this is fine, he whispered to himself. But it didn't feel fine. It was one of those small moments, the kind that shouldn't matter, but somehow did. You're welcome back to the channel, guys, and if this is your first time here, just stay till the end and see how this Ethan moment plays out. Because now he wasn't early. He was too early. And there's a difference. At first, he tried to act normal. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through apps he'd already checked, opened messages he didn't need to reply to. He even locked his screen, then unlocked it again, like something new would appear in 5 seconds. Nothing did. Wait, that's when it started to feel off. Because every time someone walked past him, there was this tiny thought in his head like, do they think I've been waiting long? Which didn't even make sense, because no one cared. But still, he adjusted how he sat, then adjusted again, crossed his legs, uncrossed them. It wasn't loud, but it stayed. That second pause. He checked the group chat. No new messages. Actually, the last message was from him. I'm on my way. He stared at it for a second. Technically, he had been on his way. He just didn't expect to arrive this early. And then, another thought hit him. What if everyone else comes late? Not just 5 minutes late, but like, late. Now, suddenly, being early didn't feel like discipline anymore. It felt like a mistake. He looked around again, slower this time. Same park, same people, same feeling. And then, something small happened. A girl walked past him, glanced for a second, then looked away quickly. Nothing serious. But Ethan felt it. That tiny awareness. Like, I've been sitting here too long. He checked the time again. 4:18. Only 6 minutes had passed. 6. He blinked. Wait, what? That didn't feel right. It felt like at least 20. That's when it hit him. Time moves differently when you're early and alone. Slower, heavier, almost like it's watching you too. He leaned back on the bench, trying to relax. Just chill, he muttered. But here's the thing. The more he tried to act relaxed, the more aware he became of everything. His hands, his posture, even his breathing. And then, his phone buzzed. He sat up immediately. Finally, he opened it. Running a bit late. Be there by 5. He stared at the message. 5? Wait. The plan was 4:30. Now it was 5, which meant he was almost an hour early. He leaned back again, slower this time, and just laughed quietly. Not because it was funny, but because there was nothing else to do. That small moment again. He thought about leaving. Honestly, it made sense. Go somewhere else. Come back later. But then, what if they arrive early for once? Now imagine leaving and missing them by 5 minutes. That would be worse. Way worse. So now he was stuck. Not physically, but mentally. And that's when something simple clicked. It wasn't about being early. It was about arriving without a plan. Because if he had something to do, this wouldn't feel like this. If he walked in with purpose, even something small, this moment would feel different. Less exposed. Less like he was waiting to be seen waiting. He stood up, walked slowly to a nearby vendor, bought a bottle of water he didn't really need. Came back, but not to the same spot. A different bench. A small reset. And somehow, that helped. Still a bit awkward. Still early. But not that early. By the time his friends finally showed up, laughing like they always did, Ethan didn't even mention it. He just nodded, stood up, and said, "You guys took your time?" They laughed. "Bro, we're always like this." And yeah, they were. That was the unspoken truth. People don't move at the same time. Not everyone values timing the same way. And sometimes, being early isn't wrong. It's just out of sync. As they walked off together, Ethan glanced back at the bench for a second. That small moment, that second pause, it was gone now. But it stayed just enough. Because now he knew. Next time, he wouldn't just show up early. He'd show up with something to do. Because timing matters. But knowing what to do with the time, that matters a little more. And if you've ever had a moment like that, or even watched someone go through it, then yeah, you probably get it. And if you do, you'll probably like the kind of stories we tell here. So you can stick around, drop a like, and subscribe for more of Ethan's moments. Because honestly, there's always another one.